If the story of Joey Logano driving the blue AAA livery were turned into a horror movie, it would be called Don't Win. Ghosts of AAA past tried to warn him. The legendary Mark Martin associates these colors with nothing but heartbreak. The likes of David Reagan, or as Donald Trump would call him,
David Lee Regan,
Kurt Busch, and Sam Hornish Jr. never got to experience sweet victory when driving these colors. Even as a two-time champion, the blue and red scallop design and eventually the straight up plain blue design, because the scallops don't fit with the new number placements, they would truly be a livery like no other, not in a good way. On this Friday the 13th, NRF Productions proudly presents Joey Logano's blue AAA insurance livery Curse NASCAR paint. Darrell Waltrip labeled Joey Logano's performance in the 2013 Auto Club 400 the best he's seen him drive in a long time. And on the old side of the Kaiser Steel Mill plant, Joey Logano looked to win Roger Penske his first NASCAR Cup Series race in the house he built himself, driving the Auto Club car in the Auto Club 400. This would be a race that would change Joey Logano's entire career, swapping paint with the driver that told him 1 week ago, "Hush, little child." Joey Logano didn't care about the failing water pressure. He was going to go all in to send a message to his former teammate turned rival.
Hamlin edges ahead. They touch! They touch, and here comes Kyle! And Kyle Busch wins in California.
I thought they'd be nice to each other.
Are you sure about that?
The Auto Club Ford Fusion lost the Auto Club 400, but at least in this instance, in the words of Joey Logano,
that's what he gets.
Revenge would be a dish served cold, and ultimately for Denny Hamlin, it would be an injury. But to even have a shot at this, Joey Logano would do the one thing that you do not do in a horror film: rattle the cage of the old man.
I'm gonna bust his ass.
My boy Tony Stewart is after Logano.
Continuing tradition, AAA Insurance would get the primary rights to sponsor Joey Logano's Ford Fusion in the spring Kansas race. So how do you top such a noteworthy debut performance?
Oh my God.
Wow.
That is unbelievable.
So we're 2 races in, and this livery sparked Joey Logano's villain origin story and was involved in a highlight reel wreck. I think that right there is a more than plausible reason for you guys to keep watching this video instead of mindlessly scrolling through a bunch of YouTube shorts. Joey Logano's return to Southern California in 2014 had everybody's attention, whether it was the flashing cameras of the local paparazzi or through a loud chorus of boos from the grandstands, because Joey Logano was easily recognizable, taking to the track in the exact same livery that graced the promotional commercials for this race. So for AAA, they were hoping not only to capitalize on this, but also continue momentum. Joey Logano got a 3rd place finish at Texas in 2013 as part of a second half surge for the Double Deuce. Now, I have no clue about superstitions. You got Darlington and the Lady in Black about how she's tough on equipment, but Auto Club in this race, she was mighty rough on Joey Logano this entire weekend. It all started with practice. Joey Logano would end up crashing his primary piece, racing his backup car in the 400-mile main event on Sunday. Still, the worn-out, bumpy Auto Club racing surface, she would not be too forgiving of what Joey Logano did 1 year prior to both Denny Hamlin and Tony Stewart. As the older sister track to Michigan, a place that Joey Logano conquered last season, this track would test mechanical capabilities in a big way and would not show Joey Logano any of that love, causing him to retire from the race early on with rear gear issues. Following this race, there would be a time of peace for Joey Logano with this livery, scoring 3 top 10s in 4 races with AAA, so not too bad. None of these races having the stakes of the 2015 AAA Texas 500. Joey Logano's clean sweeping of the round of 12 made him the man that everybody was chasing down, including Matt Kenseth.
And Kenseth
Got you, homie.
cleared by Logano. Maybe no. Kenseth takes him out. Logano into the wall. Caution comes out and the crowd roars.
The 6-time winner was at the bottom of the playoff grid with just 2 bullets left to strike the bullseye and win the prize of a golden ticket to Homestead. This carnival-style ride included a lack of practice for the Texas race, and this is a track, of course, at the time that had a slick, rough surface with a lot of tire wear, even as Steve Letarte reassured the viewers.
Yeah, Goodyear brings a great tire for racing at this older surface.
The tire wear that was expected to go about 55 laps wouldn't even make it to lap 12 for Joey Logano. Making things worse, it caused an explosion inside the car that ripped out the radio cords. In fact, Joey Logano had to be physically told to go to the garage to repair the car because he could not hear the team in their communications. And to make matters worse, the explosion was so unique that the team didn't have the parts necessary, the fabrications necessary on the crash cart, meaning that Todd Gordon would have to fabricate sheet metal himself to repair the side of the car that was damaged while Joey Logano was trying to fix the cords that were damaged. Ultimately, 1 weekend later, this poor finish with the AAA colors would officially contribute to Joey Logano's 6-win season, coming up short of a run for a championship in Miami. Now, I'm no psychologist here, but Joey Logano was definitely feeling victoriously frustrated entering the 2016 Kansas race. Now, before I get corrected by someone that went into massive debt to get a psychology degree and claim that they've never even heard of this phrase, well, let's just say that this is a special type of racing psychology that for some reason colleges are not offering as a special elective. Yes, the driver becomes more focused on the end goal of winning. They become more focused, but they also tend to be more aggressive and angrier behind the wheel. The dry spell of 14 races was building up massive tension inside driver number 22. Joey Logano, as the defending winner at Kansas, would not show his competition any mercy.
Look at the 22, 3 wide inside of Harvick.
Wow, nice move. 22's down on the flat trying to get under Harvick.
Oh, he did this earlier to Harvick. I mean, I
22
like
gave
the idea.
See that? 22 gave the 42 a shot.
Sucks.
Joey Logano had a mission to achieve. Would it be in this race?
But look how
There
it
you
turned
go.
him. Sucks
Suck
himself
the 2
around.
right around, and the 11 goes into the 42, and here comes Logano, and bam, right into the 11.
Joey Logano's time would come at the Michigan Speedway, but for the people at AAA, the tension remained. They wanted to see their brand in the spotlight as a NASCAR Cup Series winner, especially with a driver like Joey Logano, someone like no other. For Texas to close out the season, the people at AAA would hand over the hardware for the AAA Texas 500 to the Sports Clip guest as they did a successful rain dance in the press box to declare Carl Edwards the winner over Joey Logano. Man, that's gotta be tough for AAA. They had the perfect portrait, Joey Logano hoisting the trophy for the AAA Texas 500. It was right there, the perfect picture to put in their office. All that for naught because NASCAR prematurely decided to call a playoff race. After a 5th place effort in Southern California, Joey Logano came back to Kansas with the blue and red scallops determined to prove that this 22 team could legally win races, scoring the pole position for Saturday's Go Bowling 400. And Joey Logano, he would indeed end up bowling a strike in this race.
Oh, man, it looked like the 22 just got loose.
I think that, oh man.
So you guys might be thinking, Joey Logano, yes, he's a driver like no other, but he straight up ran out of talent right here. That was far from the case, as he reported earlier in the race that he was experiencing brake issues. And finally, after wearing out the brakes all night, the right front brake rotor exploded, which is why you saw Joey Logano's car yank violently to the left like a handful of US politicians in the last decade. Joey Logano's 2017 season was like no other, except for the fact that the AAA livery remained as cursed as it ever was despite yet another decent finish at Texas as a non-playoff driver. So if the last 2 Kansas races weren't as painful as infuriating as you could possibly think, 2018 is potentially the worst. Todd Gordon went against the grain in this race to give the 22 precious track position, savoring all that clean air, before Joey Logano, decked out in the AAA colors, would ultimately get a taste of his own medicine. That was the same story for Auto Club in 2019. The Penske guys tried to work together to tag team up on Kyle Busch. However, I hate to say it, guys, but there's no stopping
Kyle, Rowdy, Busch.
I mean, let's be honest, that's how Fox hyped up this entire race. So for Joey Logano to lose the Kyle Busch show, not exactly the biggest loss or the most cursed loss by any metric of the imagination. So for 2020, chaos was the theme of this calendar year, but as for the cursed AAA livery, honestly, I can't report any drama. I know, this is like the sky is falling from Chicken Little. Both the Auto Club and Texas races were decent, as well as the second trip to New Hampshire. You know, New Hampshire seems to be a place of good luck for the 22. Maybe they should keep going back. Which means, of course, because this livery is cursed, the Yellow Brick Road led AAA back to the Kansas Speedway due to the Auto Club race getting canceled. Why, AAA, why? Did you guys not learn your lesson from 2013, 2016, 2017, and 2018? Because the pain would continue, although it was in a much different way. Paul Wolfe and the 22 team, they just didn't have a contending piece to begin with. Team Penske's struggles on intermediates in 2021 continued and left the two-time Kansas winner 17th. So AAA spent millions to sponsor Joey Logano at one of his better tracks, and really they don't have anything to show based on the stats. No wins, a bunch of DNFs. That right there is the definition of cursed. But hey, at least they didn't sponsor the 2022 running. The round of 8 opener required Joey Logano to start off strong, especially since the Fords, they lacked the horsepower all season long. They would come out swinging in this race, and unfortunately for Joey Logano, that would be his undoing in this race.
Joey Logano, playoff driver, now behind the wall. The engine expired on the 22. He is out of the race.
Now, ultimately, I can't necessarily fault Team Penske for being a bit aggressive. If this were the Kansas Speedway race a week later, a 400-mile race, none of this would have happened. But ultimately, none of that matters. Texas once again bit the AAA car and put Joey Logano in a must-win situation. And unfortunately, like 2015, 2021 would see Joey Logano come up one round short of the championship, ultimately because of something that happened with the AAA colors. Okay, so we've been through Joey Logano's villain origin story. We've been through the highlight reel wrecks. We've been through all the constant losses at the Kansas Speedway. We've been through the playoff eliminations in 2015 and 2021. But even with all those moments for the blue AAA livery, I will not hesitate to say this, 2022 was the most painful season for Joey Logano in these colors. In both AAA races in 2022, Joey Logano was presented with an opportunity to win late in the race. So what happens? Joey Logano would be the winning pass in both races. Compared to, say, Kyle Busch and Pedigree, where it seemed like every time you were just waiting for the moment that the tire went down, Joey Logano actually had some decent runs in the AAA blue colors. Though, like Kyle Busch and Pedigree, Joey Logano and AAA Insurance so far, it's a winless combination in comparison to the successful 10 years with Shell Pennzoil that produced multiple wins and 2 championships. Plus, you throw in all those chaotic moments, highlight reel crashes, and playoff damaging moments. Joey Logano's blue AAA livery is some cursed NASCAR paint. I 100% see why they're switching over to an almost Brad Keselowski-esque Miller Lite look for the 2023 races. We're going to have to see if that clean look can clean up all the mess that this blue livery has caused over the last 10 years. So if you thought this livery was cursed, why don't you check out the malignant tumor that was the Daniel Suarez Good Sam livery, or how Jimmy Johnson's White Lightning scheme captured chaos in a bottle. Other than that, this is Nathan for NRF Productions. Life's a beach, and then you drive.